Hi, everybody. I'm going to teach you today how to do your in-state experience verification form by accessing it through the BBS website. This can be done through Tavera, and we have great tutorials on how to run this report through Tavera. But the reason it's important to get familiarized with the BBS website is because it's being updated really often. So if there are any updated versions of forms that you need to access, this is where you are going to find them. So go ahead and go to bbs.ca.gov. You're going to go over and hover over applicant, and then you're going to click on LMFT. Scroll down to forms and publications, click on forms, and you are going to find the in-state experience verification form. Go ahead and open it up. This is what it looks like. And the beautiful thing about this here is you can type directly into these boxes. And once you're done filling it out, you can download it and send it to your supervisor for signatures. I have one that I've already filled out for you as an example. So we're going to go over this so you can get more familiarized with the form. One thing that I should mention here is that the hours on this form, if they were done in practicum, you want to mark pre-degree because this is before you've graduated. Go ahead and fill in your name here. There's not going to be an associate number because we are not associates yet. We're still just trainees when this in-state experience verification was done. You're going to put in your supervisor's information here. If your supervisor is not a physician, which usually they're not, you're going to go ahead and click NA here. Some people do have psychiatrists as their supervisors, although it is kind of uncommon from what we've seen. This is where you're going to put your practicum sites information and make sure you put your name here again. This is where things get really important, so please pay attention. For the employer information, for question number 1, was this experience gained in a setting that lawfully and regularly provides mental health counseling or psychotherapy? You are going to check yes. For number 2, was this experience gained in a private practice setting? You are going to check no. As trainees who haven't graduated yet, we are not allowed to work in private practice. Associates are allowed to work in private practice, but trainees are not. So please make sure you're checking no here. Was this experience gained in a setting that provided oversight to ensure that the applicant's work meets the experience and supervision requirements is within the scope of practice? You're going to click yes here. And then number 4 is for hours gained as an associate only. Was the applicant receiving pay? So as trainees, we are not receiving pay typically. I know some trainees get stipends, but the pay is not based on how many clients you see. When you're an associate, that's a different story. So since we didn't gain these hours as an associate, click NA, pre-degree experience. So we're going to come down to the experience information. The dates of experience are the dates where you were in practicum. So I've kind of made up some dates here. Go ahead and put those in from the start to the end date. And then go ahead and calculate how many weeks of experience that comes out to. In terms of hours of experience, how many hours of direct counseling experience did you have? This is direct face-to-face contact with clients, can be done over telehealth or in person. Go ahead and put those numbers of hours in here. And then of these above hours, how many of these hours were gained diagnosing and treating couples, families, and children? Put that number here. The reason that it's really important to specify this is because you need at least 500 hours of working with couples, families, and children in order to apply for MFT licensure. So that can be as a trainee or as an associate. So put those hours here. And then for non-clinical experience, you're going to put those hours here. Of those above hours, how many were face-to-face supervision? So for individual or triadic, you're going to put how many hours in total you had here, and then you're going to put how many hours of group supervision you had here. This hours per week is essentially how many hours per week did you have of individual or triadic and of group supervision. So this is going to differ by person. Here I have put a range. Some people will have a range of hours. So some weeks maybe you only had 1 hour of triadic supervision, and then other weeks maybe you had 2 hours of triadic supervision. Same with group. And then for others, this might just be a standalone number without a range because all of the hours were really consistent. And then down here, this is where your supervisor is going to sign off. One more thing that I should mention is make sure that the signature is written out by your supervisor. So this can be written with ink physically, or it can be written out with a mouse pad like I've done here. Make sure it's a written out signature because that is what the BBS is deeming as acceptable. So this is how to do your in-state experience verification form. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to your GA team or your clinical training coordinator. We would love to help you out. Thank you.